I was a sheltered kid coming out of high school, especially for the racing scene, professional races. I've barely been to any Supercrosses at that point in my life, and yet here I was going. I've never really watched one, and here I am going to race my first one. I've barely spent any time at the test tracks, and I'm going to be under one of the most prestigious tents for my first race with Mitch Payton, which created quite a pressure cooker that I wasn't necessarily ready for. But it's a sink or swim kind of mentality, and I wasn't going to turn it down. And I had some great people around me. Dave Chase, he was a big supporter of mine who was working with Mitch at the time, and some other guys that really made it happen. But it was more than just a steep learning curve. It was just crazy to be around an atmosphere where I was always before in a box van with my family. I would come in from a bad race, and my dad would like maybe yell or do a little bit, but not like crazy. And that was it, And now being in front of 45,000 fans, pits are packed. And if things didn't go well, I remember Casey Lytle and Shea Bentley. Shea Bentley was defending his title that year, and he didn't come out maybe necessarily how Mitch was hoping. And just to see the different dynamic of a professional level team, the disappointment of the crew that worked so hard, and people maybe getting yelled at or disappointed, and it was just crazy to wrap my head around. So that was the first time where my eyes were really, really open, and they were open huge, and I had to learn quick. Like, what's this all about? I was more just amazed by the whole atmosphere. Somebody brought me 2 new sets of gear for the week, and it was all like perfect, and it was just the whole image of it all, and I'd never really been around something like that. So I was just blown away and kind of in awe of how everything worked. So that was the biggest aspect that kind of threw me for a loop, was getting used to the situation of professional racing. When you're always with your dad or your mom and sister out of a little van parked in the back, there's nobody around. And, you go up to the starting gate a little before your moto and you just roll up, go off the gate. This was a whole day of just stuff to think about, people asking you how your bike was, suspension, motor, what's working there, and, how tires are. And I was just pumped I had new tires. Who cared? I didn't really care how they worked. And so that kind of gives you a sense of how much I had to grow and adapt to what was in front of me in the years to come. But that was so far incomprehensible for me at that moment that I had no idea what was going to happen next week, let alone in the next few years.